You're such an asshole.
Hello, children. You may have noticed a slight increase in quality of the camera because I got the Logitech Brio, and I am aware I have climbing, not climbing, climbing the corporate ladder, but I'll change that in the title. So, yeah, let me know if it looks a little bit better. There's an entire nightmare of me going with a DSLR camera, and yeah, f that. Question for you, Captain Cap. When should people stop climbing the corporate ladder? Well, let me start and preface it by this. I don't think you should ever start climbing it. That to work for a corporation or an employer, at least according to my philosophy and theory, which you're a different person, you may not share my philosophy, but your goal in life should not be to become the CEO of some soulless corporation and suffering the idiots therein to get to that position. Men and women, young men and women, but men and women in general, in these United States of America, you should be abusing corporations. You should be using them just to advance yourself, get the experience. We've talked about this many times before, where the big four in accounting, all right, they promote black female, lesbian, wheelchair, vagina with a touch of the autism. They do not promote hardest working or the best, right? So it is no longer meritocratic. Silicon Valley, I mean, pretty much every American employer now is like, oh my God, the diversities and inclusions. Well, we know it was meritocracy before, but she's Hispanic and a woman, and she has a mental disability. So all the regular other Latinas and Latinos are effed, no matter how hard they worked. So that's one thing right there. But Silicon Valley, another perfect example where, oh my God, oh my God. And so you go to these places just to increase your skill set, maybe make a lot of money, and then you go and you live your life. The days of hanging your hat at a corporation are long over, and I would argue that you should not want to be climbing the corporate ladder. I mean, get promoted, get the money. Are there places that are still meritocratic and fair and will promote the best work? Sure, but it was exceptionally rare before all this woke politics started happening. It's even rarer now, and I do not know because it's been so long. Says I had an employer. I don't know if the younger generations of managers are any less or more fair, but I look at it, I'm like, no, you're just more insane. And I'm not doing and again, go to Josh Fluke's channel and he'll tell you he's more on top of it than I am. So I would say no, you don't even want to climb up the corporate ladder. I mean, maybe climb a couple rungs, but then you should be aiming to be self-employed and be a contractor, get the hell out. Now, that being said, not everybody shares that philosophy. I'm not everybody, and everybody is not me. And so maybe a lot of you do want to climb the corporate ladder. Maybe you want to stick around. Maybe you're just not the entrepreneurial type. Maybe you want to raise your family or something like that. So he has a good point. So, but I just want to point that out there that you shouldn't generally in 2023. I wouldn't be bucking for promotion. I wouldn't be. I mean, promotion, yes. CEO, leader, manager, absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right, anonymous writes. Added roles of responsibility means more money and status, but at the cost of time and energy. And let me also tell you this headache. Have you seen Americans? Have you seen how fat and stupid and dumb they are and dramatic? It's babysitting. You're going to be babysitting, man. That's what you're going to be doing. How you know when you should stop accepting promotions? Additionally, have you ever taken a promotion and regretted it? Agree, blah blah blah. Have I ever taken a promotion and regretted it? The only way I got promoted was by working for the competition, which is true. I've never been promoted beyond my competency. That's the Peter principle, where someone promoted me. I'm like, oh God, I have no idea what I'm doing here. Um, so yeah, I can't answer that because I never got promoted and regretted it or enjoyed it within the same employer. So then how you know when you should stop accepting promotions? All right. First, when you have FU money. And this would be more like when you just leave the company if you want. And again, it is possible. Some people find a great employer and you can hang your hat there. I'm not saying it's impossible, it's just unlikely. So, these are not hard and fast rules to follow. These are just if you have the typical employment situation where it's like, my boss is a dick, no one knows what they're doing. I'm a manager because I foolishly took this promotion and I'm surrounded by idiots and I spend all my times putting out fires and making up for people's mistakes. All right, so one, when you have FU money, a lot of guys kind of do that. They did this on the Bakken oil field, or they'll go up to Alaska and do the fishing or whatever. They'll work for 3 to 5 years, make their money, and they're done. Kind of what I recommend young men do, young ladies too, if you listen, is starting at, starting at 16 technically, but once you graduate from high school, work 2 full-time jobs, ask your parents if you could live at home, should have around 200,000 by the time you're 22 and all your idiot friends are graduating from college. You got your FU you still have to work a job, but you're there. You could be much more picky in terms of what jobs you choose, but you got FU money, you can leave. And then you could do what a lot of old timers do is they demote themselves. They were ranked here. They're like, I don't like this job. And but I got enough money and I'm just going to do part-time so I can hang out with the guys at the loading dock or whatever. So that's one instance. When you have enough self-employment money that you do not need a job, so you got enough 1099 income coming in that you don't need it. Now, this doesn't have to replace your income. Again, going back on my philosophy that you should always be looking to get out of corporate employment as quickly as possible and start making your own money. But that'd be the limits where it's like, they wanted to promote me. I know I don't want to get promoted. Well, you're either up or out. It's like, I got enough self-employment money. I'm not going to get promoted anywhere. And you could still work your daytime job and work your side self-employment gig until that becomes too big. But once you got enough, like, I don't really need my job. And your focus should switch from getting promoted at that corporation to promoting your company. When you're happy with your job, that's another instance where you'd stay within the firm, but there's no reason to take any more promotions. I had the opportunities a couple times, largely in security, to be promoted to like supervisor and all that. No, I don't want to be a supervisor. I don't want to be responsible for people. I didn't want to do paperwork. I enjoy just being a patrol guy, just being patrolman, security guard, go out on the bike, patrol the campus, walk people home. That's what I wanted to do. And you may be, a buddy of mine came to town and he was an engineer. He is an engineer. I said, "Do you ever make it to management?" He's like, "Absolutely not. Didn't need to be promoted. It's perfectly fine." So that's another instance where you'd refuse promotion. And then when there's something more important in life going on, like a lot of this is work-life balance. If you got family, that's your number one priority, despite what feminists and modern day women have told you that no, your career is more important than everything else in the world. But you got kids, your wife needs a break. Maybe she wants to work a little bit or something, and you agree to some kind of work where you come home. You're not doing no 80-hour work weeks. Absolutely not. No, you got a family. You take care of your children. 40, maybe 50 or 60 hours, or as long as, it's a single family income, maybe you could do 80. But you should, minimalism also plays a role in this too. How much money do you need? I can't imagine, like, I got to work 80 hours a week. No, you really don't. I'm trying to figure out the scenario. Unless you're paid gobs of money and you are on the fast track to get promoted and not going to pull the woke Latina wheelchair quadriplegic Asperger's candidate gets promoted after your 25 years of loyal service. I don't see a reason that you would have to work 80 hours a week. So if there are other things going on in your life, it could be something like, I need to get my college degree, so I'm going to drop down part-time and stuff like that. That's when I would not take any promotion, because you're just going to get more work. Yeah, you probably get more pay, but then more responsibility, more headache. And then your real life, remember, your real life is not work, ladies. I know most of you it is, because you don't have a life outside of work. Well, those are the choices you made. But for those of you who want to live a happy life, your real life should not be work. It should be outside of work, and work should supplement that. So if you're starting to hit the 55, 60, 65 hours per week, and it's starting to cut into, especially if you're married, especially if you have kids, those people are more important than your job. And you got to sit back and say, okay, do I need this promotion? Do I need the money? And 9 out of 10 times, no, you don't. Unless someone's staying at home to raise the kid and you're living on one income. Then, yeah, you go out, kick a lot of ass. We'll support you back here. Then if I went back to it, what should stop people climbing the corporate ladder? Added roles of responsibility means more money and status, but at the same cost of time and energy and headache. How do you know when you should stop accepting promotions? A lot of the advice I gave there's like when you should leave the company or look to get out, or where it's like, no, I don't want a promotion. They say they have an up or out policy. You either get promoted or you leave. But let's just say you want to stay within the company. You don't have any compelling reason to, like, you don't have home dragging you in and all that. It's, do you want the promotion or not? It's really what it is. I personally am against giving a corporation my best. My employer doesn't deserve my best. I deserve my best. My spouse or my kids, if I had them, would deserve my best, not my boss. My boss deserves a fair effort, but not my best. But absent family, then there is yourself. And if if you got the right work-life balance, you get a good night's sleep. You make enough money. You have enough money to save up for a house and a car and make a down payment and contribute adequately to a 401k. Like, once you're compensated well enough and the job you have is not a total pain in the ass, then you don't have to get promoted anymore. And I've gotten this question a couple times, but from a different angle, where people are working for one company and they really like it. And then they got a job offer from another company that pays a lot more, but it's the unknown quantity. It's the same thing getting promoted. You're going to have a new boss. I mean, it might be 2 bosses ahead of you currently now, but now you're going to say to that one boss as you get promoted. Could be a new boss altogether if you're in a new division, new employees, the whole dynamic. And just one of those things has to be the burr in your saddle to make it not worth it. And 9 out of 10 times it's the new boss. That's why I always say, if you have a boss, Cappy, I make $93,000 a year, and the work is challenging, but not always. And, I guess the people I don't like, but I got a great boss. You got a great boss. That's worth 30% of your salary right there. And if you can stick with a good boss, I'd be like, okay, multiply the 93 times 0.3. So what, 30 to 27, that put you at $120,000. I would not even entertain a job offer unless it was absolutely $120,000. And I'd cyber stalk the hell out of not only the new boss, but all the people I'd have to work with. But at that time, if you're making enough money and you don't really need the money and you're not power hungry, you don't need the promotion, it's not your life goal. For some of you, it is. I would get it's like the Peter principle, but 1 or 2 below. The Peter principle is everyone gets promoted to the point where they're dysfunctional. Because, like, you do your job good, we should promote you. Oh, you do that job good, we promote you. Also, you get promoted beyond your competence. It's not that. You're like, no, I like being a mid-level manager. Oh, but there's a regional director. Nah, I don't want that. I got the supervisor position. I'm the senior whatchamacoosit, and I'm the best senior whatchamacoosit there ever was. And I'm happy, and I don't have that much responsibilities, and I go home at 5 p.m. sharp. Oh, you get promoted. If you're happy, if you're comfy, is your current job serving your life well? Is it adequate for your life? Your life goals are not your corporate goals. Your life goals are outside of a corporate America. It's outside your employer. Unless, again, your goal is to get promoted to Queen Bee of Shit Hill. Oh, I'm Queen Bee of Shit Hill and I live in New York. Good for you, sweetheart. But if your job is adequately serving the role it needs to serve to support and enhance and enjoy your life and live your life to the ability, I wouldn't take the risk of the promotion. I mean, it could be, now, another reason you might want to take a promotion is your job currently sucks. And it's usually they won't give you a promotion because if your job sucks, you're probably not performing that well, or more likely your managers think you're not performing that well. They don't realize that they're messing it up. But if you can get out of a bad situation and get into a better situation, like ignoring money and power and all. Okay, yeah, fine. If a promoted or supervisor job is better than the previously ranked one, go ahead and take it. Take it. But if you are comfy, if the job pays enough, you've been there a while, you've streamlined the job. Like at first, you're going to do about 50, 60 hours a week just to figure things out if you do it right. But if you're doing it right, you should at least whittle down the amount of real work you do to about 30, maybe 25. And if you're in banking, 10 per week because bankers are freaking lazy morons. And all of a sudden, you got that nice little, it's almost like a government job. You're working 4 hours a day. You're allowed to work on your other projects. The boss doesn't care because you got a cool boy. I would not be giving that up, man. Because another thing, not only is it serving your current life well, and that's the point and purpose of a job. If you can do it without headache, and your job isn't a royal pain in the ass and causing you to stress out, man, I just hold on to that. Just just holding on to that quasi cushy government position you got and let the job do its job. And then you go out and if you want to put your effort into something, you put it into life. Now, if you're younger and you want to hustle and you want to make a lot of money and there are opportunities and it is fair and meritocratic, they don't just grab the latest affirmative action hire like, oh my God, you look that genitalia, which is so uncommon. Here's your promotions. First, change your identity to female. No joke. Just do it. And like, okay, I'm trans now. Oh my God. All that work you did, we don't really care about that. You're trans and we want to be popular because we're modern day corporate MBAs. Forgot where I was going with that. Oh, if you want it, assuming that it is meritocratic, yeah, go ahead. I mean, don't leave money on the table. And some people they just jive real well with their employer. It's rare, but it happens. Yeah. And you know what? If you got a great company, a great employer, and they pay you well, and your job is rewarding, like this happens one every 1,000 times, absolutely. It's a blessing. And if you don't have family, you don't have wife, you don't have kids, you don't have a partner or whatever, what else you got to do? But never forget, but that would even in my mind be like, okay, yeah, you make all the money and then we're free and we get to go hiking all the time. Except at 65, it's 42. Some people like work, man. Some people just love, like that movie Hail Caesar. You might get that. Watch that movie. You know what? That is a great movie because that happens in the movie. He has to deal with all these freaking morons in Hollywood. He's what's his name? What's the actor's name? Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin. He's in charge of a movie studio and he's got to manage all these divas and actors and actresses. It's a brilliant movie, Coen Brothers. It's great. And he gets a job offer that's it's really good. And I think it's in Kansas, so he'd have to give up his current position. And the story is multiple vignettes of what this guy has to tolerate. And he finds out he loves his job. And he decides to stick with it. I'm not giving away the movie. The movie is all the crap he's got to deal with. But he doesn't take the promotion. He doesn't because despite all the crap he's got to deal with, he likes it. That's where he belongs. And so if you're happy at your position in rank and everything is going well, look, you get a bad job, you get a bad boss, doesn't matter you're making more money, it ruins your life. Because that's where your entire life money is derived from. Once again, I don't know if I mentioned it before, your goal should be to get the hell out of corporate America. Ideally, corporate America would just be starving for leadership. Oh my God, grab anyone, as long as they're not a white male who's straight. It's gonna be really cool to see. Like, you can't even find accountants anymore. They're Big Four. I wonder if you're hiring high schoolers, eh? Oh my God, not training programs, anything but. Where was I going with that? If your job becomes a nightmare, your life is a nightmare. And so if you got a good job and they leave you the F alone and there's no drama, oh God, I won't even risk it. keep working that same job, save your money, and go live your life. And then if you want to make more money, do it on the side. You do some side hustle or something like that. But yeah, I have been promoted working for other places. There's no good jobs. It's just assume there are no good jobs. And if you get one, you're lucky. Because it's the truth. Most people are morons. Most people are stupid. Most people are shit. Employees and your employer, bosses and executives. Why do you think America's in the shape it is now? So I would never be hanging my hat there. But who knows? You might have a. I'm trying to think if there was ever a place. Yeah, I like working at security. I know it's dumb. I left making like 10, 16 an hour or something like that. It was quite some time ago, but I know it was dumb, but I liked it. And now yeah, obviously I make enough money to live here. But man, if I were to, old, retired, Cappy does it, yeah, I could become a cop. I could become a security guard again. I could become some old fart directing traffic. Absolutely. And it wouldn't be for them like that. And that's another thing. I guess I believe as the internet has exposed all these societal lies that, like New York is where intelligent people go and hang out and there's culture, or California is where all the hot people, it's really the popular people, or Wall Street is where you make all the money and stuff like that. And your corporate career, you gotta be a corporate man and all my, as especially Josh Fluke and the internet in general has exposed the lie. I think this dream or desire to climb the corporate ladder and become a corporate executive, that's only to the hoodwinked and the brainwashed. I mean, you really are. It really is only your boss babes and your dude bros who are like, I don't know how. Chad was telling me there's a dwindling, but still a group of people who are like, yeah, man, big four. I'm going to become a CPA and make partner. I'm like, oh God, really? How? How did they get that information? How? So I think that desire, that dream is going away. But it's there. If the rung is there and it helps how you make money, okay. But you don't want to go to the top of the corporate ladder. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, all right, let's go to the super chats. See if we have any here. Infamous New York City, new guy, 10 generous dollars. Hello, Infamous. With mental health on the rise and lack of nursing staff, do you think it's a good idea to take on a trade as well, seeing as I can't take my nursing abroad? I would, well, your nurse, you should be fine with nursing. In other words, your income should keep up with inflation. But outside of that, yeah, I would get a trade if for the sole reason that in a collapsed economy or even an impaired economy, you can barter. Like, hey, I can whatever fix your well if you come over here and redo my electricity. Um, and trades are kind of fun. It's what guys do. But I mean, a lack of isn't that good mental illness on the rise and lack of nursing staff. Do you think it's a good idea to take a trade as well? Seeing as I can't take my nursing abroad. Yeah, if you want to go abroad, though, I'd be doing like programming or accounting. Learn how to do taxes. Taxes aren't going away in America, so you derive your income from the United States and then you go live anywhere else. But if you're going to stay in the U.S., a trade would be good for your own survival. Oh, Savannah, you're so nice. Savannah, would anyone listen? I know you and a handful, but very few women bought the menu. And no, I'm not writing for women because they're not going to listen. They're not going to listen. The truth, the king, $10. Hustling gonna get the corner office, brah. This is another thing that's gonna be an anachronism. Is that the right word? Like the corner office. Who wants the corner office, bro? That is a fun. Yes, John. Is it John? Are you John Grant from the 405 Media? Was it? You guys should tune into that 405media.com. Yeah. Big Four is a meat grinder, parlay the experience into something else, in my own opinion. Yeah. I'm just saying, if you got to go work for Goldman Sachs or Pete Marwick or Silicon Valley or whatever, go get your experience, put it on your resume, do your 2 years, get the hell out. Get the hell out. Because it's not going to be worth it. L Boogie, $10. Love your content, Aaron. Were you a higher earner when you worked in corporate? Yeah. Oh, yeah, obviously, adjusted for inflation. Because I had multiple things going for me back. Well, I have multiple things, but they're all online now. Or just an above average investor saver. Both. Also, do you tell people that you're retired? No, because I'm not retired. I still work. I was, if we adjusted for inflation, I was probably making around 110 to 120 in my 30s, early 30s, because I had my corporate gig. I was an analyst. Then I had my ballroom dance classes. At time, I remember one year I made $46,000 teaching dance classes. That was when I was in my 20s. So obviously, adjust for inflation. Now that's what, 60 grand by now. I didn't have stellar years like that all the time, but I did that. And then I had these online classes I taught through a company online, and that was $1,200, $1,300 a month on average. So 25,000. No, not 24, 25. That's more like 20,000 plus, well, adjust for inflation, 25,000 easy plus 60. Let's make it more 50,000. So 70. And then my salary back then was what, 40, 50, maybe even 60,000 at some time. Yeah, I was making six figs, easily adjusted for inflation. Now you mention it, and I remember that there was 1 year and a 6-month period where I made either over 100,000 in that 1 year, or I was making 100,000 for that 6-month period of time. But yeah, I was a higher earner back then. Oh, and then my rental property, the rental income would kick in as well. So I had, what is that, 4 sources of revenue? Yeah, still shot down like 90% of the time. Asked out a lot of girls, went on a lot of dates, but still like shot down. Just not good enough. Just not good enough. Sam Smith, 10 generous dollars. Been in the trade since I was 17. I'm 25 now and a project manager. Best year so far has been 70,000 net. I have the opportunity to move to the railroad for a 40K bonus and 70K starting. Thoughts? Would you be using your same trade? I honestly, man, I don't know if I give up the trades. And the railroad, nothing wrong with the railroad, but they're going to send you out to BFE, and you're going to have a boss. Like, why don't, if you're a tradesman now, why don't you open up your own shop? Why don't you go start working for yourself? Get your master certificate, master whatever it is. Show up on time, do the job right the first time, and do it sober. I think you can make 100 grand net. I mean, you're probably making 100 grand gross. I don't know if going to the railroad is, if they were like, let's say you're a plumber and we need you to plumb the railroad for whatever reason. Okay, it's more money. But if they're just like, you're some rookie kid coming in and they're going to start you back at zero, no, you got a good skill, you got a good trade. That's about it. All right. Questions, answers, hassleconsulting.com. See you guys later. Toodles.